Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. In today's video, I am continuing my ranking my top 100 favorite albums. Now I'm at number 27 on my list, and this is Rocky Mountain High from 1972 by the great John Denver. Really great folk country album. John Denver, one of my favorite artists out there, and this is definitely one of his best albums. So stay tuned to hear my thoughts here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello everybody, hope everybody's doing well here on a Saturday evening. A lot going on today, it feels like. We got the Final Four going on, we got WrestleMania. It's a lot of cool stuff. But yeah, I'm coming back to bring you, also, before I go on, I wanted to say that I did a video with SoundLab Studios, Garrett from SoundLab Studios on his channel, and I think he's putting that out Wednesday, and we did a review on the album The Odyssey and the Oracle by the Zombies from 1968. Really great album. It was a lot of fun. Talked to Garrett and also Briar from Briar's Music Showcase, and also Nick on there. Anyway, the four of us talk about that, so that should be a good conversation that will come out Wednesday on his channel anyways. But just want to plug that. But yeah, get into this. I haven't talked about any albums for a little while. I've got so much other things. The Oscars went on, and I do a lot on the Oscars. John Wick Chapter 4 came out, and that was a big one for me to really talk about. And I might talk more about John Wick Chapter 4 at some point. That's still a movie I think about, because it's the only first movie I've seen in the theater this year. One of my biggest anticipated movies. But I wanted to go back and kind of go through my list. I got number 27, so I'm getting close to my top 25 favorite albums. Of course, I made this list probably 2 years ago, and I've been listening to new albums since, and there's a lot of albums that are on my 100 favorite albums list that probably should be on there, and some of these probably should be higher or lower. It's hard going through these and going, man, there's so many other good albums I didn't put on here. But yeah, this has definitely always been a favorite of mine. Rocky Mountain High by John Denver. Like I said, big fan of John Denver. This came out in 1972. This is a 6th studio album, actually. I already talked about one of his albums that was on my list already. I think it was called Come Back Home Again. Another really great album. It was a huge hit for him. And this is one of, I feel like this is like maybe one of his first big hit albums that really put his name out there. It says 6th album. Like, I can't believe it's that many albums in. Because of course, Rocky Mountain High, the song Rocky Mountain High was a huge hit. It charted number 4 in the U.S. Or sorry, that's the album. Sorry, Rocky Mountain High, the single, charted number 9 in the U.S. So it was a top 10 song, huge on the radio. I know my dad's talked about. My parents are big John Denver fans. I grew up listening to John Denver. I know my dad said like he remembers hearing Rocky Mountain High on the radio, and that was really like the first, I think, song that he heard from John Denver that really made him a big fan. And I think he's seen him like 3 times in concert, I think, and my mom and dad. So he said he's amazing in concert. But in 1972, my dad just got out of high school. He graduated in 71, I think. So my dad's probably 19 years old at this point, and hearing this song and just absolutely loving it. And yeah, John Denver definitely became a big star in the 70s. I think a lot to this album really, like I said, was one that really made him, an artist to keep a close eye on, that was coming up with really huge hits on this one. The album itself did very well. It charted number 4 in the US, really great there. Number 11 in the UK, number 1 in Canada. So really great in Canada. So Canada, you got good music taste, I have to say. I can't believe this wasn't number 1 here in the US. I mean, it's such a great album. But it's the first album that reached the top 10 for John Denver, like I said. So this was definitely the first really big album for John Denver. Like I said, Back Home Again and Poems, Prayers, and Promises are some other big ones that would come out that are also favorites of mine. This definitely, like I said, I had Back Home Again, this one. I have one more album left on here, so this is my second favorite John Denver album. And definitely, this is one you have to get if you like John Denver at all. It's a must. Like I said, I love John Denver for he's got this great laid-back vocals, a mixture of folk and country. Of course, great acoustic guitar work on these songs. And Rocky Mountain High, of course, that song is absolutely iconic to him. One of his, key songs, trademark songs, I guess you can say, um, that he basically co-wrote with someone named Taylor. But man, this album is just, it makes you feel like you're in the Rocky Mountains. It makes you want to go to the Rocky Mountains. Like I've been to the Rocky Mountains and I love the Rocky Mountains. I live in Kansas, so Colorado is just west of us. I live in East Kansas, so it just still takes a little while to get to the Rocky Mountains. Still takes probably 8-10 hour drive to get there, but man, it is beautiful. The Rockies are such beautiful mountains to look at and to drive around, and yeah, absolutely love the Rockies. So that's what I love about when I listen to this album. It just takes me to the Rockies. Like I feel like it transports me over there, and I just feel like I'm in the Rocky Mountains when I'm listening to this album. It kind of does that too, especially the song "Rocky Mountain High." Of course, is its love for the nature, and John Denver was known for his love for nature, and that's what kind of made him unique. Is his wrote a lot of songs about scenery and about animals and stuff like that, and all that. Anyways, but yeah, "Rocky Mountain High" definitely the key song on here. He's got a Mother Nature song, which is of course a Beatles song. He covers that song very well. He does a John Prine song, Paradise. Just a couple of big ones here. Darcy Farrell's another one from Glenn Campbell that he covers. So he does cover some other people's songs. He does really good. I think his covers overall are very well done. Prisoners, absolutely amazing song that he wrote. Goodbye Again. Another, I think, big hit of his that I've heard a lot growing up. Prisoner is absolutely one of my favorite of his as well. And then what makes this album so unique is the Season Suite. It's basically 5 songs in one, just playing right after each other. It's the 8th song on the album, so it's 8 songs long, this album, but the 8th song is broken up into 5 parts. And so, which is probably like, 10 minutes long or more to go through the whole Season Suite. But Season Suite is such a cool idea that John Denver does here, where he goes through the different seasons and they have their own kind of theme to it. And he goes from one to the other, starting with summer, then to fall, then to winter, then late winter, early spring, which I believe is just an instrumental part. There's that part, which is kind of more instrumental, I think. And then it ends in spring at the end. And there's a common theme throughout. I mean, a common chorus or melody throughout the whole seasons. That's absolutely beautiful, and I absolutely love it. And it's such a treat to listen to all of these songs together as the Season Suite anyway. So it's definitely one of those what do you call them, like what the Beatles did with Abbey Road. I think this is kind of like, to me, like what they did there, where you bring all these songs together into one song right after each other. And yeah, just absolutely wonderful. Absolutely love it on this album, and why this is definitely one of my favorite albums all time. Number 27 on my list. So I go to my top 3 favorite songs on here. I didn't put the Season Suite on here. The Season Suite is like almost like one song. It's really great though. I do love the whole Season Suite song on here. But number 3, I'm going with Prisoners. Prisoners, it's such a great upbeat acoustic guitar song, and John Denver's vocals absolutely amazing. Like I said, it's one of his more upbeat ones. I feel like that, man, it's so fun to listen to. Great chorus, great guitar work on here. Love Prisoners, number 3. Number 2, I put Rocky Mountain High, which you think would be number 1. It's very close. It's definitely, it's like I said, this is such a great album because Rocky Mountain High is one of my favorite John Denver's songs, and it's number 2 on this list here. And it's a top 10 probably favorite song of John Denver's. Obviously, you got that Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Oh, so good, that chorus, and just singing about being in the mountains and how beautiful the mountains are. Again, great guitar work and great vocals by John, and just a really great song. And then number 1, though, I put Goodbye Again, is actually my favorite on here. Not only, great vocally and great chorus, but I love the lyrics of this song. It's one of my favorite lyrical songs that he does, and it's very biographical song, where he's singing about having to leave his wife at home while he goes, and does tourings and, whatever, as a musician, a famous musician. He's obviously gone a lot away from home, either touring or doing TV stuff, or going to the studio. I don't know, but it's mostly probably touring. But I know it's a song about him having to leave and say, goodbye again. I'm sorry to be leaving you, but it's goodbye again. Um, and then the greatest line is at the end. It says like, "Why do we always have to fight when I have to go?" And that's like the end of the chorus. And so, it hits you hard emotionally, I think. When I listen to the song every time, they go, "Oh man, that must have been hard." You have to leave. You don't want to leave your wife. You want to be with your wife. And even the song, he talks about how he longs to be with her. And the greatest thing he's ever known is, laying in bed with her is like, the greatest thing ever. Yet he has to go because he has these obligations and he talks about he has to go see some strangers that know him. And I love how he words that. He doesn't know these people, but they love him because of his music, and he has to go sing for him. Yet he misses his wife at the same time, and so it's a very heartbreaking song, lyrically and emotionally, and even the way the melody is and everything. That's why I love it so much. It's just a deep, deep song that I really feel for John Denver in a sense. And I could feel the same way. If I had to leave home all the time, I would feel the same way, like almost kind of this guilt of having to leave your loved one behind. But yet it's something you love to do. You love to make music, if you're John Denver and you get to do that, but yeah. And then of course, obviously it's going to cause a lot of fighting. So obviously there's a bunch of fighting, and there's nothing worse than fighting with your wife and then leaving, have to go to work or something. And you're like, you wish you could have dealt with the situation before you had to go wherever you're going, and now it lingers on in you as you leave. And it's the worst feeling in the world. So I think he captures that really, really well in this song. I don't know what it's like to have to leave and go touring, or, I don't have, a life where I have to be gone a lot. I'm at home a lot. So I don't know that feeling, but I can imagine it's a terrible feeling. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely love this song. Goodbye Again. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful song. One of the best written songs by John Denver. And yeah, definitely up there. It's one of my favorite John Denver songs and my favorite on this album. So definitely check those 3 songs out. Obviously check this album out. You can't go wrong with John Denver. I haven't met anybody that's like, "Oh, I don't like John Denver." Or I never heard someone hear a song and go, "Yeah, it's not for me." John Denver is one of those guys. It feels like anybody can listen to and enjoy quite a bit. But yeah, so yeah, number 27 on my list, it's Rocky Mountain High. So yes, please comment. What do you think about this album? What do you feel about it? Where would it be on your list and top 100 favorite albums, or where would it be? Love to read the comments on there. And thank you to everybody that comments on my videos. And just thank you to everybody that's watching this video. I thank everybody that has liked the video. And I especially thank all my subscribers for supporting my channel. I just got over 200 subscribers, so I really appreciate all of you guys. And I hope you guys have a really good day.